And this is part 4 of the previous prophetic word, so I'm going to go ahead and continue. Okay, and then it says, verse 26, and when the angel of the Lord went further and stood in a narrow place where was no way to turn either to the right hand or to the left. And when the ass saw the angel of the Lord, she fell down under Balaam, and Balaam's anger was kindled, and he smote the ass with the staff. And the Lord opened the mouth of the ass, and she said unto Balaam, what have I done unto you, that you have smited me these 3 times? And Balaam said unto the ass, because you has mocked me, I would there were a sword in my hand, for now would I kill you. And the ass said unto Balaam, am not I your ass upon which you has ridden ever since I was yours unto this day? Was I ever wont to do so unto you? And he said, no. Okay, so again, right there, the Lord is saying that your person was still trying to run, even though, again, they were feeling, certain things, happen to them. And, again, they was in this hurt and such. They were still trying to keep going without the Lord. They were still trying to keep doing their own thing, walking in their own way, going after their own ways, thinking that they knew best. They were still trying to do this. Although, again, God was, passing judgment in certain, increments, in certain segments, because, again, God does not, again, do judgment all in one whop. There's segments of it. There are different humbling stages that God takes these spouses through. There are different times they're happening. But again, it's to get them to, come more and more into a realization of, who God is and what is happening, what is taking place, and receiving these signs and such. So again, it says, and the angel of the Lord went further and stood in a narrow place, y'all. Again, narrow, again, that straight and narrow path, right? To where this person, to where Balaam couldn't go left nor right. But again, so God is saying with that, God had got your person into a place to where they could not go no more. They could not go no more without the Lord. They could not, run from this no more. He had humbled them so, so much to where, again, they had to come to the Lord again, confessing and again, asking God for help, pleading for help, in that time of distress, in that time of lowliness. So yes, it was a, major humbling in that moment. That was the final, stage of that humbling to get your person to come into submission into the Lord. So yes, that was that last time, and that was that narrow, that he had set up before them, that narrow place. There was nowhere that your person could turn to no more, but to receive the Lord and walk on that straight and narrow way. And we know that is the way of righteousness, of holiness. So yes, narrow is significant with this, because again, God got your person to where they had to turn towards righteousness. They had to turn towards him to seek help so that they may be delivered and saved from the things that they were also battling and going through. Again, this could be, physically, spiritually, mentally, financially, whatever the case may be. They were still facing some type of judgment, some type of discomfort. And again, that was causing them distress, sorrow. So yes. And again, even with the scripture with the donkey asking Balaam, why did he hit him? Why is he doing that to him? Has he not been, riding, on him? Have he not been there, and such? And this is how, your person was to the Lord, also asking why these things are happening. They were confused to why they was facing these things when they was getting hit with this, wrath, with this judgment and such, at these times. They were confused to why these things were happening to them, why they kept having to feel this way, why they kept going through these things and such that was, happening out of nowhere and such. That was them questioning what was happening with, their lives and such. So again, this was also like a communication that they were having with the Lord when these things were happening to them. This was also leading them to speak to the Lord and go into prayer, wanting to know what is going on, why they're facing these type of things. But yes, that's what that also symbolized with that the Lord is leading me to share. And then verse 31, it says, then the Lord opened the eyes of Balaam, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way, and his sword drawn in his hand. And he bowed down his head and fell flat on his face. And the angel of the Lord said unto him, wherefore has you smitten your ass these 3 times? Behold, I went out to withstand you, because your way is perverse before you. And the ass saw me and turned from me these 3 times. Unless she had turned from me, surely now also I had slain you and saved her alive. So God is saying with this that your person's eyes is open now. They are able to see now. Now, Balaam has seen the angel standing there. At first he didn't see him. He kept going and trying to go, and again kept falling and falling, but now his eyes were open to see the angel. And God is saying again, your person's eyes has been open now, and they know again, the voice of the Lord. They now have heard God. They now have received this revelation that they had needed to receive to know what this all was about and why all these things taking place the way it did. Again, it says the angel told Balaam, I went out to withstand you because your way was perverse before me, and the ass saw me and turned from me these 3 times. Unless she had turned from me, surely now also I had slain you and saved her alive. So again, just as Balaam kept trying to go and the donkey was turning from the way that Balaam was going and such, because the donkey could see and such, the donkey was saving Balaam. And again, just like the angel said, if it wasn't for the donkey, Balaam would have surely died. And God is saying as well with this, that you who are standing are the donkey. You saw God, as in you have been in relationship with God. You have been hearing from God. You have been seeing the signs that God has shown you and manifested towards you. You have saw those things, but your person was still blind. You standing were the one going through these things and hearing the voice of the Lord and following God. So again, you were turning from the way of the perverse way, and by your obedience to the Lord, you had been interceding for your person who were going in the way of wickedness, who were walking after their flesh, doing things in their own way. Through your obedience, you have helped this person come to Christ. Through your obedience, you have saved this person from destruction. That's why, again, this person was a part of your assignment, so that they may receive life and have it abundantly. Again, receiving Jesus, receiving salvation. So through your obedience, you have helped this person turn from, the wickedness that they have been walking by, on their own, doing things in their own way, going after things that is not pleasing and acceptable to God. Your obedience has healed this person as well. Through your obedience, through the Holy Spirit leading you, your obedience has helped this person come to the realization of who God is. And again, receiving the righteous way, walking after the Lord, building that relationship with the Lord as well, turning from that perverse way that they were walking in, that is of wickedness, destruction. So yes, you were the donkey in this. God is revealing that with this, you were the donkey. You were the one that was helping your person to not die, not receive, the weight of death, as in living a life away from the Lord, in separation of the Lord. But now this person has come to the realization of who God is now. Their eyes have been opened. They know who God is, and they know, the voice of the Lord. They know these things now because God had touched their eyes and opened their eyes, just as Balaam's eyes were open now. Again, they may have once rejected you. Again, Balaam was rejecting the donkey's leading. Balaam was rejecting the way of the donkey when the donkey was stopping. Balaam wanted to keep going. Again, Balaam's donkey was saving him from the way of destruction because he saw what was ahead of him. He was able to see the angel in that sword, so he was turning away from it. But again, Balaam was upset, about it and such like that, and wanted to do things in his way and wanted to go how he wanted. So again, this was a depiction of you reaching out to your person, trying to help them in a way that you once did in the past. They were rejecting you in that way. They were rejecting your help and such like that. They wanted to do things in their own way and such, but God had to humble them and again, turn them around. God had to sit them down, and they had to face that falling to get them to, wake up to the truth and to see things spiritually, and how they needed to be blessed with that sight and that hearing, that they needed to hear the Lord and go after his ways. Because again, this person was walking in darkness. They were walking blindly and deaf, again, not knowing the voice of the Lord, not knowing the way of the Lord, but you knew it once God had called you. You knew it before they did, because again, God had used you to also intercede for them and to help them to come to that way of, again, learning God's voice and learning that way of righteousness and holiness. So again, the angel says that if it wasn't for the donkey, he sure would have saved the donkey and killed Balaam. But again, that didn't happen that way because Balaam finally stopped. But again, it didn't happen that way because this was your person finally coming to the truth, to the realization of that they needed Jesus, that they needed God. And again, this helped them to receive, that gift of salvation. Again, you were a part of this process of them coming to God. So yes, that's why obedience was so important on your behalf. No matter what you saw, no matter what it looked like in the physical, again, through your faith and through your obedience, this was going to come to pass, because again, this is what God told you. If your person did not turn back, again, their way that they were choosing life would have led them to death. But again, because again, they did turn away, and because again, they did submit to the Lord, they were able to receive that salvation, that gift of grace, and have mercy, and God forgiving them and such. So yes. And then verse 34, it says, and Balaam said unto the angel of the Lord, I have sinned, for I knew not that you stood in the way against me. Now therefore, if it displease you, I will get me back again. And the angel of the Lord said unto Balaam, go with the men, but only the word that I shall speak unto you, that you shall speak. So Balaam went with the princes of Balak. So yes, with this, God is saying that your person has come into the realization of their sin, of their wrong, and how they had done things, how it was again against God, how they were being disobedient to God, how they were not walking by life, but they were walking by death. They were walking in sin willfully, living a life of sin willfully without truly knowing the consequences of these things and such. But now they are aware of their wrong. They are aware of the things that they have done and the life that they have lived, and they have turned away from that. They are now, seeking after the Lord. They are now, in submission to the Lord and walking after his will for their lives. So yes, their eyes are open, y'all. God has touched their eyes and helped them to perceive, his voice and perceived his way. They are knowledgeable of these things now. They didn't see it at first. They didn't understand these things at first. So again, they couldn't see these things. They couldn't see who you truly were. They didn't know your true value and see your true value, because again, they wasn't spiritually aware of these things that God hadn't given them that, sight yet, because again, you were hidden, and you were hidden for a reason, because you had to prepare as well. And again, God had to separate you too. And again, through this separation, that is why, again, you were able to reach that level of completeness that you needed to reach. Again, through this person not seeing your true value as well, that, allowed the separation to take place, because they couldn't truly see who you were. They were able to let you go at that time. Again, if they could truly see you, they wouldn't have let you go, right? They would have never let you go. But because they couldn't truly see who you were, they were able to let you go at that time. But now they have that sight. They have that, vision to see you truly as who God has adorned you to be, just as you will see now who God has adorned them to be, because y'all both have reached that level of completeness. So again, God is saying this person is being obedient to him now. They are following God and his instructions. So yes, they hadn't had come forward in such, because God hadn't sent them yet. They weren't truly sent yet to you, because God was still doing things in them, working on them. So again, you had to be patient. God was teaching you patience throughout this process. So yes, now God is sending this person back to you, because again, it says, and the angel of the Lord said unto Balaam, go with the men, but only the word that I shall speak unto you, that you shall speak. So Balaam went with the princes of Balak, again with the princes of Balak. So again, this is the return back to come towards Balak as well, or whatever. So yeah, God is saying with you, this is your person now coming back to you. He is sending them, and again, when they come to you, they're going to speak these things that God has purposed them to speak to you. Just as God, for some of y'all, God had used you to speak and reach out to them and say a specific message to them, they're going to come back with a specific message to you, at the appointed time that God has sent them to come to you. So yes, again, this is that letter, that they're coming, that apology, however they're putting it, in words, whether that be, actual, verbal words, or again, through writing, through text messages, however God is sending them to come forward towards you. Again, they're coming with the things that God had placed in their hearts and their minds to speak towards you, and they're coming with truth. They're coming to confess. They're coming to acknowledge these things that had happened with y'all and how they treated you, with apologies and such. So yes, that is what God is saying. They are coming back to you, and with the word from the Lord that God has placed in them to speak, as in to truly open up to you and let out these things that they had once hid from you, that they had not were were not truthful about in the past. They're coming with the truth, y'all. And then it says, and when Balak heard that Balaam was come, he went out to meet him into a city of Moab, which is in the border of Arnon, which is in the utmost coast. And Balak said unto Balaam, did I not earnestly send unto you to call you? Wherefore came you not unto me? Am I not able indeed to promote you to honor? And then it says, and Balaam said unto Balak, lo, I am come unto you. Have I now any power at all to say anything? The word that God put in my mouth shall that I speak. So again, with this, Balaam was sent towards Balak. And Balak knew that Balaam was coming. So he went out to meet Balaam. So again, God is saying with this, you knew your person was coming. You knew your person was coming because God had said they were coming, right? So again, God may had also again use you to meet them, halfway. And that could have been you reaching out to them. Again, this is specific for someone who God had instructed to reach out to this person. So again, yes, you had been used to meet them, to speak something to them. And that was you meeting them halfway to know that, again, this is, what God intended. This was, God's will. So again, you were used as a sign, to your person. And again, Balak was waiting on Balaam. Balaam was on the way, and Balak went to go meet Balaam halfway. So again, this is also for those who have been, standing for their spouses, that have, been meeting your person halfway because God has been using you to stand for them, interceding on their behalf. You were used. And again, your person is now coming back to you to receive you. But again, for those who have been instructed to reach out to this person, to the one that you were standing for, that God had told you to do so, and you hadn't heard from this person, you just did it out of obedience, but you have not saw any change. This person appeared as if they ignored you, or they had not spoken back to you at all. God is saying again, this was because he hadn't ordered them to speak to you yet. You were just used as a sign. Again, they weren't advised to speak to you yet, so they had to be obedient to God. Although they saw that you came towards them and you sent the message to them, they couldn't respond to you yet because God hadn't told them to do so. So yes, they had been dealing with the Lord, being obedient to God. Again, you were looking at things from a different place because you only knew what you knew. You like, I did what God told me to do. They hadn't even texted me back. So again, you may were saying, why did I have to text them if they wasn't going to text me back? What was the purpose of that? You may were questioning those type of things and why, you had to do it because it looked as if this person was ignoring you. It looked as if this person was, still rejecting you, but that was not the case this time. God is saying that, again, they hadn't been sent to speak yet. They weren't advised to do so yet. So again, they were being obedient to God. And that's why God tells us not to lean on our own understanding, because he knows what is going on. He knows the full picture. He sees and knows what he's doing. You don't. You only know what God allows you to know. You only know what you can see, and again, what God allows you to know. And again, when it comes to physical sight, that don't always be what it truly is. What you can see from your place of where you're standing, that is not the true picture as well, just from your sight and where you are and what you see. So yes, God is saying again, his ways is higher than your ways, and his thoughts is higher than your thoughts. Do not lean on your own understanding, but trust in the Lord and his provision and what he is commanding and instructing you to do when he tells you to do it. So again, for those who were instructed to reach out and text that person, but you have not heard anything, that is why you have not heard anything, because God has not instructed them to reach out to you yet. That was just, for you to be obedient and trust God. And again, them also being obedient to God, not to respond yet. And that's why, again, in that scripture, it says, Balak said, does he have any power to speak anything? Again, he has to speak the word of the Lord. He has to speak what God gives him to speak. So again, that's what God is, saying with you. Your person can't just come towards you yet. He has to wait on God's instruction when God appoints him to do it at the appointed timing, because that is purpose, y'all. So yes, and again, this can still apply to those who haven't reached out to that person, but you haven't heard your person come forward yet. They haven't reached out to you yet. It's still because God has not given them the, time to do so yet. It's not the, specific time yet, but it's coming. But, when you receive this text message, it's going to be at the perfect and appointed timing that God meant for you to receive. So that's what he is saying. Again, it is coming. This is coming to pass, that your person is going to reach out to you. But again, it just haven't happened yet, because it's not the day. It's not that day specifically yet. But again, we are to, stand firm in the faith and know that it is coming, because God is speaking it. And again, he has been speaking about this over and over when it comes to these letters, when it comes to communication coming in. So it is coming, but you have to make sure that you're continuing to be prepared and also be obedient to God, doing what he needs you to do as you wait for this message to come forth, because it is coming, y'all. And the Lord led me to Numbers 23 verses 18 through 23, and it says, and he took up his parable and said, rise up, Balak, and hear. Hearken unto me, you son of Zippor. God is not a man that he should lie, neither the son of man that he should repent. Have he said, and shall he not do it? Or have he spoken, and shall he not make it good? Behold, I have received commandment to bless, and he have blessed, and I cannot reverse it. He have not beheld iniquity in Jacob, neither have he seen perverseness in Israel. The Lord his God is with him, and the shout of a king is among them. God brought them out of Egypt. He have as it were the strength of a unicorn. Surely there is no enchantment against Jacob, neither is there any divination against Israel. According to this time, it shall be said of Jacob and of Israel, what God had wrought. Yes, y'all, God is just reminding y'all that he is not a man that he should lie, nor a son of man that he shall repent. If he told you what he told you, it will be done, y'all. No matter what it looks like, no matter what it looked like, again, it's going to be done. Again, he is changing things. And again, this person is coming forward towards you, y'all. So again, continue to have faith and be obedient. Continue to remain in faith. Do not lose hope. Do not grow weary in well-doing. And continue to do good like he has purposed you to do. But yes, y'all, he is saying that, again, if he told you something, you are to believe, because he said it. He can't, go back on his word. If he's spoken it to you, he has said it, and it will be established. He will establish the thing that he has spoken. And again, it is already done in the spirit. It's just the physical of you actually walking and physically, receiving it. But again, God is saying that is changing now. Your person is coming forth. But yes, y'all, he had given me that revelation from those 2 chapters of Numbers 22 and 23. And again, he is saying that these things are coming to pass. Your person's eyes are being opened, and again, they are coming forward. Those that haven't received communication yet is only because God has not literally sent and told them to send a message. Again, just like some of you that had to send a message at that specific time God placed in your heart to do so, that is how it's going to be when, again, your person responds to you, when they come towards you. And again, if you have not reached out to your person because that part wasn't for you, because again, that part was for specific people, God is saying when your person text you, that is going to be because he literally told them to do so at that time. That was the time, that was the appointed time and day that they were supposed to do that, and that is purpose behind that. So again, remember to trust in God's appointed timing, y'all, but know that these things are coming to pass because he is, speaking about it, and he is, showing many signs, y'all, to know and remind y'all, to remember what he has spoken to you, and remember that he cannot lie. And again, these signs are just further confirmation, to encourage you and keep you, standing in with a good heart posture towards, him, and these things, not getting upset because you don't see it yet, or getting angry and mad because you have not heard from this person yet, but knowing that they are coming and trusting in God. For even more confirmation, y'all, let me tell y'all, God is leading me to share this with y'all. So yesterday I was spending time at the gas station, with the Lord and such in my car, because I just like to get away. Sometimes I go to the park, sometimes I go to the gas station, but yeah, I was spending time reading my Bible with the Lord, and then my mom called me letting me know that she was going by my sisters, and then she was going home. So okay, she go home, and eventually I finally come home, and when I come home, I go in my room and I see a gift box on my bed. It was wrapped in everything, y'all. So I'm like, okay, and then it was wrapped in ribbon and such, and I was like, okay, and then I immediately thought it was from who I thought it was. And again, this was a gift from my cousin, y'all. She had been meaning to give me this gift since last year, 2024, for my birthday, y'all. This was my birthday gift that she had never got to give to me because again we have not seen each other since then, and she's always traveling and such. But yeah, so again, I was supposed to receive this gift. She will always slide up on my Instagram story saying, I got your gift, cousin, I'm gonna give it to you and such like that. She kept, I haven't forgotten about you, I'm gonna give you this gift and such like that. And I knew that God was gonna use this again for a word, but I didn't know when and such. But yeah, y'all, I finally received a gift, y'all, and it's so funny because I have been waiting since July the 2nd of last year. So yes, y'all, it's almost been a year, and now I finally received this gift. And God is saying again, with this gift, this is the gift of you and this God ordained marriage, y'all. This promise, this person is coming, towards you. You have been waiting for some time. God had been telling you these things numerous times, repetitively, through different vessels and such, and in many ways of how he was communicating to you that again, you and this person are going to be one. You and this person are coming back together and such. You have been hearing this for so long, y'all. And again, now you're about to see it physically manifest. Just like I have been hearing my cousin tell me that on Instagram every time. She will always tell me this, y'all. And I'm like, okay. And I wasn't upset or anything like that, like, oh, when she gonna give it to me? No, I wasn't even worried about it. It's just like, oh, I get it when I get it, I wasn't really solely focused on it. So yeah, and when that time came and I saw the gift on my bed, I immediately knew, is this the gift from my cousin? And her name is Carrie. So it was even, that may be confirmation for someone. The Lord is leading me to share the name. But yeah, her name is Carrie. So I'm like, I finally got this gift and I just knew it was from Carrie. And it was, y'all. And when I opened the gift, y'all, it was a candle. I was not expecting a candle, y'all, but this candle smells so good. And it's a very name brand candle, but again, it was a candle and it smells so good, y'all. And God was speaking to me with this candle. Just as the candle, y'all, that was mentioned in Zechariah chapter 4, about, you and your person being a part of the candle, that 7-pipe candles thick and such like that. You are the branch and they are the branch. Y'all both are the branch on both sides. God is saying again that it's time to be lit, y'all. The candle, it's time for y'all to be lit. It's time for y'all to come together and again glorify the Lord. Again, being that difference in the world, like Matthew chapter 5 that I mentioned about earlier in this word. So yes, he is saying it's time for y'all to shine. It is time for y'all to come together and glorify him and testify of his goodness and his faithfulness concerning this promise, y'all. So yes, it is time for the candle to be lit, y'all. So again, with this candle that I was gifted, God is saying as well that I am no longer hidden. And again, this applies to you. You are no longer hidden. Again, he is sending you forth, to shine. Again, and with this person now seeing you, they're going to come towards you and y'all going to shine together as one, as a whole, as one in God. Y'all are about to be put on display as well with the things that God is going to do in y'all lives when it comes to this marriage, y'all, when it comes to y'all purpose and such. And he's led me to Matthew chapter 5 verses 13 through 16, and it says, you are the salt of the earth, but if the salt have lost its savor, wherewith shall it be salted? It is thenceforth good for nothing, but to be cast out and to be trodden under foot of men. You are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it give light unto all that are in the house. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Y'all, it is time. It is time to shine, y'all. You are no longer hidden. God is saying you are no longer to be hidden. And again, you are to be seen. And again, you are to testify and do these things that he has purposed you to do, being that light in the world that he has called you to be, So yes, he is saying you and this person is about to come together as one. And again, y'all are going to glorify him and testify of his saving grace, of his saving power, and the things that he has done in y'all and through y'all. Y'all are going to touch many people as well with y'all purpose. But yes, y'all, God is so intentional and purposeful. Again, he knew the time that I would receive that gift from my cousin. And again, the fact that it was a candlestick, y'all, that just blew my mind. And I knew that he was speaking to me, saying that it is time to be placed before many. It is time to be, shown. It is time to shine. It is time. It is showtime, y'all. God is saying it is your time to shine before many. And again, with this person, with your branch that again makes that full tree that God ordained for you and spoken to you since the beginning. But yes, y'all, and the Lord is leading me also to share this because again, this may serve as confirmation for someone that watches this. But yes, when I came to the park earlier and I was reading the Bible, I happened to see a car. It was a Jeep and it had red dice in the inside of the car hanging, and the number that was shown on the dice was 5. So again, 5 may be, a confirmation for someone. You may be seeing 5 a lot, or repetitive 5s and such. Again, this is not angel numbers at all, but yes, this may serve as a confirmation for you. But yeah, he just led me to share this as well. But yes, y'all, God is just reminding y'all again that this gift is coming to you, and this gift is serving as the promise of God. Again, this is your person coming back to you for those who have been standing for a God-ordained marriage. Again, you better believe it, y'all, because God have said it. Again, my shirt says you better believe it, but again, you better believe it because God has spoken it, y'all. Again, I pray that this truly reaches those who it was for. May you always take it back to God for confirmation to make sure it is your word. But yes, y'all, God bless.